Have you ever wondered what the invisible skeleton is that holds the world's biggest companies together? Well, today, we're peeling back the curtain on the secret architecture that lets them manage just mind-boggling complexity on a global scale.
I mean, seriously, think about a massive conglomerate like Tata and Sons. You've got Tata Motors, Tata Chemicals, Tata Power, dozens and dozens of completely different companies, all operating around the globe. How on earth do they keep track of everything? How do they make sure the right parts get to the right factory or that the right bills get paid from the right account? It's a logistical nightmare waiting to happen.
Well, the answer is actually pretty amazing. They build a digital blueprint. It's like this master plan deep inside their software that perfectly mirrors their real-world operations. It creates one single source of truth that just transforms all that potential chaos into pure, streamlined order.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to define exactly what this blueprint is. Then we'll look at how it's built, piece by piece. After that, we'll see how data fits into the puzzle, and finally, the big payoff, how it stops the whole system from descending into chaos. Let's do this.
Okay, first things first. Let's get right to the core of what this digital blueprint is all about.
So in the world of SAP, this whole thing is called the enterprise structure. And you have to understand, this is so much more than just a typical org chart somebody drew on a whiteboard. Nope. This is a living, breathing framework inside the software that maps out the company's entire legal and organizational reality. I really love this idea of it being the company's DNA, because honestly, it dictates pretty much everything that comes after.
So, if it's like DNA, how is it actually structured? Let's take a look at how this hierarchy gets built, starting right from the very top. You'll notice how we go from the super abstract to the very, very physical. Way up at the top, you've got the company. That's the whole parent corporation, like Tata and Sons. Right below that, you have company codes. Now, these are super important. Each one is its own separate legal entity that has to do its own financial reporting. So think Tata Motors or Tata Chemicals. Then we get to things you can actually touch. A plant is a physical place, a factory or a warehouse, and it's always linked to a specific company code. And finally, inside that plant, you have storage locations. These are the exact spots for raw materials, finished goods, you name it.
And here's the secret sauce that holds this whole thing together: codes. Every single level we just talked about gets its own unique code. This isn't just about giving things a label, it's what creates that rock-solid digital chain of command. It guarantees that data always ends up in the right place.
Okay, a quick but really important clarification here, because this one trips people up all the time. You might hear storage location and warehouse and think they're the same thing. In the world of SAP, they are totally different. A storage location is just a general area. A warehouse? That's a whole other beast. It's a way more complex system that can track stuff down to the very specific bin it's sitting in. For anyone in logistics, that distinction is absolutely huge.
All right, so we've built our digital house. We've got the foundation, the rooms, everything. Now we've got to move the furniture in. And this part is all about making data fit, giving every piece of information its proper home.
So what's this furniture I'm talking about? It's what's known as master data. This is all the core, foundational information that a business runs on, the stuff that doesn't really change day to day. We're talking about your list of approved vendors, your customer files, or the exact specifications for every single material you use. That's master data.
And this leads us to maybe the most important point of all. A giant spreadsheet of vendors or materials is completely useless unless you know where it belongs in the company. To have any meaning at all, that data needs a home.
So here's how we give it a home. Each of those levels we built, like a company code or a plant, is called an organizational element. To make your data actually work, you have to extend it to the right element. Here's a simple way to think about it. If a supplier only sells parts to Tata Motors, their vendor data gets extended only to the Tata Motors company code. It won't exist for Tata Chemicals. This is the step, the critical step, that makes sure information is only available where it's actually supposed to be.
So we've built the structure, and we've put all our data in its proper home. Now for the fun part. Let's look at the enormous payoff for all this careful work: preventing absolute digital chaos.
So, what do you think happens if somebody tries to use data in the wrong home? Let's play this out. Imagine an employee at Tata Motors is trying to create a purchase order, and they accidentally pick a vendor that's only approved to work with Tata Chemicals. What happens next? You get this. An error. And that is not a bug, my friends. That is the single most important feature of this entire system.
This is a textbook example of a simple human mistake, selecting a vendor not associated with the chosen company code. It is precisely this kind of everyday, honest, and potentially very expensive mistake that this whole structure is designed to catch, automatically.
So you see, the enterprise structure isn't just a filing cabinet, it's an intelligent guardrail. By giving all your data a proper home, it automatically stops people from using the wrong info in the wrong place. It prevents those costly mistakes before they even have a chance to happen, and enforces the rules of the business so nobody has to memorize them.
Okay, let's bring it all home. The enterprise structure is the company's digital blueprint. That hierarchy organizes everything from the highest corporate level all the way down to a single box on a shelf. But the real magic, the real genius, is when you link your master data to that structure. Because that's what transforms a simple blueprint into a smart system that crushes errors and keeps the whole operation running like clockwork.
You know, this framework has been the backbone of the world's biggest companies for decades now. It really is the blueprint for today's company. And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. As businesses get faster, more agile, and more interconnected than ever before, what does the blueprint for tomorrow's company even look like? Thanks for joining me on this one.